No matter how many times I try to explain this, no matter how many times, it falls on deaf ears. We are in the middle of one of the biggest attacks on our social media and our regular free speech by individuals who are using what's happening right now in this horrible conflict between Israel and Hamas. They're trying to use this. And I don't think it's meant deliberately to crash and to destroy free speech. I don't think that's specifically what they're trying to do, but they're doing it nonetheless. And somehow during the course of this, Ben Shapiro is the arbiter of what is and isn't acceptable. Now, by the way, this is a great move on his part, because what's happening is that, and this is what Al Sharpton taught us and others as well. Sorry about that. I don't know. I hit the wrong. Today has been a snafu like you cannot believe. In any event, our friend Ben Shapiro has positioned himself as being the conduit between Elon Musk and the rest of the world. This is an Al Sharpton move. Not that he's Al Sharpton, but it's where you have someone who is critical to a particular way of thinking, a spokesperson for a community. And if Ben Shapiro gives you the okay, if he says, wait a minute, I understand what you're saying, this is not in any way hateful, then this gets a pass. And what a great boon to have the richest man in the world as your friend. And if you don't get how things work, then you are so naive. I don't even know how to tell you. This is the world we're living in right now. Now, let me explain a few things to you. I want you to listen carefully. We're going to jump into this, and I want you to keep an open mind and focus. And let us now do a favor. Let us not worry about the history of the Middle East. This is irrelevant at this point. That has nothing to do with what's going on right now. We're not going to resolve anything by trying to discuss some historical context. But in the meantime, what I want you to do is listen very, very carefully, very closely as to what we talk about. And specifically, watch what happens to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. They're going to be the targets. Watch what happens. I'm telling you, I've seen this before, and it's a great object lesson. It's a way for you to learn how to thread the needle, so to speak. But please like our video, pay attention. And before we get even deeper into this, please listen to these important words from our sponsor. Dark clouds are gathering as markets shudder. Stocks are sinking, currency stumbling, fear and uncertainty reign. The Middle East, Ukraine, Taiwan, the debt, it's endless. Yet one asset stands firm, gold. In crisis after crisis, gold is there in the background. Its enduring value guards against loss, like a missile shield against incoming. While paper wealth burns, gold persists. Shield your savings against looming threats, war, recession, contagion, and avoid the frenzied panic of the unprepared. Take control in the chaos. Fortune favors decisive action. Get hold of gold now before it's out of reach. And right now, Noble Gold Investments offers a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with every new IRA. Claim your free coin today to secure your financial future. As this new storm gathers, panic looms. And some of the places you were thinking of for your money, well, they don't look so clever anymore. Secure your future against disaster now. Open a Noble Gold Investments IRA and claim your free bullion coin today. Go to LionelNationGold.com. That's LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com, the only gold company I trust. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. Watch very carefully what's happening right now, my friends, so that you understand this. I am the truth fascist. I am absolutely a brute when it comes to truth. I want 100% unfettered, uninterrupted truth, or truth, as some people say. I want truth. If it's true, that's all I care about. That's it. If it's true, that's it. Period. End of discussion. Is it true? Did it happen? Is this what's going on? Say it. That's number one. Number two, I firmly believe in what I think was the spirit of Section 230 is that social media platforms do nothing but present the airwaves, the electrons. It's a bulletin board. It's a newsstand. It's just the medium by which people speak. It doesn't endorse anything. It doesn't stand for the promotion of anti-Semitism or racism. It doesn't stand for that. It allows the racist and the anti-Semite and the patriot and the gay and the straight and the Catholic and the Jew and the atheist all the ability to speak like they would speak outside, like they would speak on the street, like they would speak in protests, like they would speak in parades and in rallies. That's it. That's it. I don't know why this is a big deal. Why is this so difficult to understand? I don't care what it is. Say what you want. The only thing, it is not to be construed as the subject of the promulgation of the thought. Just like your vocal cords are not the promulgation medium of hate speech. It merely facilitates. It's what's in your head. And the story, which I don't understand, is this big story about how people are saying, oh my God, young people are recognizing the words of Osama bin Laden. Then read them. Go ahead. He's been saying, everybody's saying this. What did you just woke up? What is the matter with these people? I don't endorse this, but listen to this. Listen to this. I don't. How are people looking you in the eye and saying, "Well, it makes sense to me." You want to limit what people are saying? Yes. Why? Because it's hateful. It promotes anti-Semitism. It doesn't promote it. It's already there. The air promotes it. The world. I don't understand this. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand. We have Mein Kampf is in the library. You can buy Mein Kampf on Amazon. I don't get this. What is the matter? What is happening here? But then the next issue, because there are many, many issues, the next are people who don't understand it, people who flex their wings, people who don't understand the rules. Now, we live in this world. There is a rule that says, for example, you used to have to wear a jacket in some places, not anymore, but you have to wear a coat or a tie or whatever it is. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. Did you ever go to a wedding recently where it says black tie, formal? Good luck. People are slobs and pigs. They're not going to do that. But it's your call. Okay, there are certain rules of decorum. And there are certain things that are happening right now. And we live in a world right now as we love to bring someone down. Alex Jones, Kathy Griffin, Elon Musk, anybody. We love another scalp on the wall. We want to destroy them. We love it. And if they don't follow the rules, that's it. Now, here comes Candace Owens. First of all, I never listened to her, never liked her, never cared for her. Not my cup of tea. I think she's an opportunist, a blowhard, and a bilious bombast. I think she's whatever anybody wants her to be. From that, when she did that Kanye West thing, I realized, oh my God. She wants to be famous. She wants to be, look, it doesn't matter. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. But here's the rule. Here's the thing. She doesn't know what's going on here. You don't understand the rules. You don't understand how things work. She doesn't get it. And they're going to get her. More people have, or they are, she doesn't get it. She has on people that are radioactive, which is fine. Let me tell you something. This is something which I've tried to explain to folks, and I don't think they understand this. I say things repeatedly, and then people kind of sort of maybe understand it, okay? Maybe they understand it, okay? Maybe then they do this. I have been telling you that the future of all information worth anything is going to be on private paywalls and the like. Private. This is my private channel. I can say whatever I want. And what I'm saying, or interview anybody I want, or talk to anybody I want, or do whatever. Away from this, there's nobody to say, okay, you're this or that. No, because you basically consent to what I'm saying. And there are other folks too. There are other, Rumble did it, and Odyssey does it, and BitChute did it, and the others, and that's fine, and that's good. But that's where we're going. That's where everything's going. People want to be able to speak freely, and we're living under this yoke of censorship. I don't understand it. But this is what I'm talking about. And I've been doing this. I've known this. When Candace Owens was a kid, I was doing this. I've seen this. I see what they do. I know how they do this. And I know if you want to play this game, you have to thread the needle. And for some particular reason, when you get to be really big, somebody will come after you. Somebody will be. All of a sudden, years ago, there were people, Jesse Jackson was first. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, in addition to whatever they did to promote it, these were classic strong arm artists. This was like almost from like the Lucchese's, where they would come to you and say, listen, you don't want to have any problems, do you? You don't want to have any labor problems, do you? We'll take care of this. You don't want anything to happen to your customers' cars, do you? It's protection money. It's the oldest thing in the book. Al Sharpton would come on, Jesse Jackson, and you'll, I heard stuff from the music business. Oh my God. Make an in-kind contribution to this, your problems go away. During the Bloomberg administration, I don't know what, there were all these wonderful stories where Al Sharpton was nowhere to be found. You couldn't see him. You couldn't find him. Never said anything about Bloomberg. Gee, I wonder why. Now, look, if you don't understand this by now, I don't know what to tell you, okay? So all of a sudden, Elon Musk decides that even the genius Elon Musk on his own platform made a mistake by basically certifying, ratifying, retweeting, or actually, no, he said something like he's got it right. He went just beyond retweeting, but he basically took something that somebody said. And the reference was to the ADL. In fact, Ben Shapiro has an excellent kind of an endorsement, like a blessing, where he explains how ADL and these organizations were in essence a part of this. I don't know what the word is. ADL was a part of this. I don't know what the word is. There was a time when Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL, Anti-Defamation League, went into areas like this DEI or whatever the hell it was called, diversity, equity, inclusion, blah, blah, blah. And they just went nuts. It's like, wait a minute. How did you go from ADL to this? And that's kind of sort of what Elon was talking about. Kind of sort of, maybe sort of, you know what I mean? But anyway, it didn't work. So all of a sudden, everybody hightailed it out. All of these big advertisers, we're leaving, we're done, we're through, you're an anti-Semite. He's not an anti-Semite. It doesn't matter. This is the game you play. And then he tried his best to say, no, that's not what I meant. And that's not what I did. You don't understand. I think it doesn't matter. We're out of here. And once remember how birds, how spooking a horse or cattle or murmurations of starlings, they move like this. They move in groups. And if all of a sudden they say, this is it, that's the way you go. So they started moving this way. So anyway, Ben Shapiro comes up, and Elon Musk even supports it or retweets it. And Ben basically says, hey, look, this is what Elon did. It's okay. Now, look, I don't know, but I hope Ben has a further business relationship with the richest man in the world who basically saved him, because Ben, and good for him, has maintained a position of he is the arbiter. If Ben Shapiro comes after you, like Candace Owens. See, Candace Owens doesn't understand it. Candace Owens is basically, there's an expression, you don't piss into the wind, you don't tug a Superman's cape, and you got to pick the hill you want to die on. That's one thing people don't understand. Even if you want to do this, I've learned so much. I've learned so much This is a scary world, and self-censorship is the worst thing possible. And if you don't understand how this thing works, see, Candace Owens thinks she's Candace Owens. She thinks I can do whatever I want. She went after Crowder, louder with Crowder, right? Crowder. Then she went after Megyn Kelly. And she's going after anybody she can because she wants to be the heel. This is professional wrestling. She wants to be the heel. Well, she wants to bring the heat, be the heel. Well, she's going to be finding out this is one of the worst things you could possibly ever do. It is beyond stupid. It is beyond insane to do this. Beyond insanity to do this. So she has on other people too. Norman Finkelstein and others. Radioactive in some respects, not in others. You've got to ask yourself, which forum do you want to be in? There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people. And right now, it's going nuts. Barry Taylor says, can we ever determine who the real fact checkers are? No, of course not. And that's the beauty. By the way, Barry, one of the most brilliant things ever is to say, I'm Snopes, I'm PolitiFact, I'm a fact checker. Who are you? I'm whoever I say I am. We're losing our minds now. Did you see this? This is the one. This is the one that just I don't even know what to say about this. We'll get to this in a moment. Here's interesting. Taylor Swift fan 23 dies of cardiac arrest while attending. I'm not going to suggest what you're saying. I'm not suggesting what you're saying. Because people are going to say, wait a minute, sudden death, wait a minute. We're not going to go there. But isn't it funny how many times we are hearing the words sudden death repeatedly, okay? Okay. Let me see. What do we do here? Let me read this to you. I want you to see this. I want you... Look at this. Elon Musk vows to file a thermonuclear lawsuit as major advertisers, including Disney and Apple, desert X-Twitter after tycoon agreed with anti-Semitic post. And again, that's another thing too. This word, please, friends, Jews, Arabs, whoever, linguists alike, do not dilute the term and do not turn the word anti-Semitic like you did to racist. Racist doesn't even mean anything anymore because racist doesn't even deal with race. Everybody that's racist. Wait a minute. This race isn't about, well, whatever. Don't do this. Elon Musk has vowed to file a thermonuclear lawsuit as major advertisers, including Apple. The billionaire has promised to hit back against what he claims is a fraudulent attack on his company by media watchdog, nonprofit Media Matters for America. I would love to see how this thing works because that's also going to be a huge. We have to get to the bottom of this, where people are basically redefining the notion of libel. Okay, this is another story. We'll get to this in a moment, but I want to read you this one story, which is the. Did you see Stacey Abrams? Quote, I don't know if this has anything to do with her. The brother-in-law of former Georgia State Representative Stacey Abrams is arrested for human trafficking after offering a 16-year-old girl money for sex. Okay. Find out how she is the brother-in-law, or how he is a brother-in-law. Okay. Here is the thing I want to read you. This is the one that I couldn't believe what I was reading. This is the one that got me. Because this is lunatic. Here we go. Daily Mail. The director of a sexual assault center at a Canadian university is coming under criticism for signing an open letter denying women were raped during Hamas's October the 7th attack on Israel. Samantha Pearson, director of the University of Alberta's Sexual Assault Center, was among those to sign in support of the letter written by two local politicians. The authored the letter. It says here, we the undersigned, listen to this, residing in so-called Canada, What does that mean, so-called? Remember during the time of Malcolm X, all of a sudden Malcolm X was very, very popular. And, well, I still is, of course. And when he was reviewed historically in their movies, he would use a word, and the so-called black man and the so-called Negro, and he would use that so-called meaning alleged, and I understood it. But then people used it for everything. And the so-called weather, no, this is the weather. And the so-called mayor, no, this is the mayor. They use so-called as some kind of a, it's like when people were saying, do you know what I'm saying? Remember that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You just started the sentence. I don't know what you're saying. The other day, someone said, like, and I said, no, stop. I'm sorry to do this. Please. You think I'm maybe some priggish coot, but you started off a sentence with like what? You haven't said anything yet. There's no, it should be as technically versus like, but you started off a sentence with like what? You started off. You didn't even, you just, that was your pause. Like, you start off with this. Anyway, I'm sorry. We, the undersigned, residing in so-called Canada, urge Canadian political leaders to end their complicity in the ongoing massacres and genocide. Okay, fine. The letter criticized. Okay, they are basically alleging the accusations of sexual violence. You can read this. Okay, let me just stop. We are hitting critical mass here. We are hitting critical mass. We are hitting levels of lunacy I can't even put into perspective. Wait a minute. What? Hold it. This is nuts. This is crazed. This is beyond anything I've ever even thought possible. There are scrums of people. There are people who are coming out of the woodwork who are losing their mind and minds over what I'm seeing is this. I don't even know what the word is. I can't put it into word. They're losing their minds. And what they're doing is, and this kills me, they're now just saying anything as though this is representative of either anti-Israel or pro-Palestinian or I don't know what. Let's put that over there for a second, okay? Remember, there's all these tables, all these plates are spinning, all of these subjects, seemingly similar, but not really. All different, all varied, okay? You understand what I'm saying? And they're going now after the usual thing. They want to go after heads. They want to go after Elon. Candace Owens are going to go after her. Ben Shapiro is going to go after her. You have a schism, a fracture within. And this is fascinating. This is the thing I cannot emphasize to you enough. And nobody seems to get it. Under the old, particular nomenclature, under the old system, okay, there were people who were, I guess, there were people who were classically, prototypically left. Left meant something. It meant something to you. To be left, to be liberal, to be woke or whatever it was. It was over here. Give you a classic example, and this is seen all over the place. Friend of mine, woman, prototypical, dyed-in-the-wool, archetypal, pro-Obama, leftist, whatever it is. Okay, fine. She hated Trump, hated conservatives, hated flag, wouldn't even stand one time. I'll never forget this. It was an event. She said, it was a Pledge of Allegiance. I said, stand up. And she was like, I don't know if I want to stand. I'm just like, one of these. Okay, fine. hates Fox News, hates Trump, hates this, Jewish, but that never came into it. But she was first and foremost a leftist. Okay. And Israel didn't really come up. The news wasn't really in the news, which for most people wasn't the case. Okay, now, her brethren, her brothers and sisters are of the left are not only quote anti-Israel, which I think is sometimes a term that is also misused, but not only is that, she is seeing a virulence the likes of which you can't believe. Let me give you an example of this, and listen to me carefully. And I want you to really focus on this and listen, because what I'm saying is so right, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. I am so correct. I don't even know how to even explicate accurately how correct I am. I mean, I've been correct, but I'm really correct now. Hang on, let me do this. I got to plug this in. Pardon me. Excuse me. I'm a one-man show here. I love these shows who have producers. I'm the producer. And sometimes there's some mornings when I've got a problem trying to integrate and sync cameras. I may be a tad late because it's me. I don't have a team. I'm the team. This is all right. We're the team. That's it. All right. There's this thing that's happening here. There is a fracture. There's a schism. There's a destruction of what is going on in terms of prototypical, archetypical parties and the like. Black folks are recognizing that they have been abandoned by the Democratic Party. Latinos, Latino Americans, Spanish Americans, whatever, realize that they have been hardworking, going through all this work to be a member of it, to be citizens, have been supplanted, rejected, and abandoned altogether by virtue of, I don't know what, this embrace of all that is illegal and the like. Gays, lesbians. Do you never hear the word lesbian? Lesbians don't even exist anymore. The word is gone. It's like sapphic or something. It's now trans. It was. And they feel again. So you're seeing this weird group of people. You're seeing this weird new tent where you have previously considered liberal Jews, liberals first and foremost, in a tent with Ben Shapiro, conservative Republican Jews, who recognize that Israel has been targeted. Okay? You're also finding gays, blacks, as I mentioned, certain Latinos in the same tent, also embracing that which is, quote, conservative, because they're realizing nobody's out for us. It's the strangest thing in the world. Then you have these people, and this is the part which I don't understand. But before I tell you this, let me read you that Extra Mile says, hit the like button, buy some slippers, and also emergency food supply. I did, from your James Marella co-friend. You were the greatest. And by the way, speaking of which, thank you so much. You mentioned this as far as food goes. Oh. This isn't a luxury. This isn't a trinket. Emergency food? Let me explain. All right, fellow patriot, let's talk about My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company. And it is more than equipped to stock your shelves in times of emergency. You can ditch the canned vegetables in the box, pasta and the banana chips and the jerky. Their best-selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. Now, these meals offer over 2,000 calories every day, with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready to go in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat, then eat. Start or strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. So go to preparewithlionel.com to get ready. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to say it again. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now. Let me tell you what's happening. something happens to some people. Have you ever noticed? There are people I have known who are degenerate gamblers. Have you ever seen this? It is the worst thing you've ever seen in your life because it's really sick. You might be gambling, but to these folks, something triggers. You might be able to have a glass of wine, you're fine. Other people, it triggers them and sends them off into, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the mechanism of this insanity is, but it works something like this. So, make a long story short, all of a sudden you have this stuff here. Now, lo and behold, you have somebody the other day who is what is he? He is a he is a, and this is important. He's a Wall Street banker. Okay, Wall Street banker. And Wall Street executive, Wall Street, whatever it is. And lo and behold, this is the most important thing. Lo and behold, he's out there and he's tearing pictures off of posts. And by the way, legally, I'm thinking, if I remove something, there's something illegal. I don't think there's something, it doesn't seem to be illegal about you removing something which basically was put up by somebody. It's not graffiti, but if I'm on a wall and I have a thing of the American flag and I put the American flag on a, light post or something, and somebody comes and rips the American flag down, I don't think that's a crime because it may be a crime for me to even put the flag up in the first place because this isn't mine. And why am I putting stuff on it? Anyway, we're not going to get into that. But all of a sudden, these people, with all that's going on in the world, they see nothing but example after example after example of case after case after case of people recognizing the fact, and this is important, people recognizing the fact that people are being caught on camera and fired. Doctors writing the most there was I think it was a Jewish doctor who referred to Palestinians as bugs and insects. I mean, this is nuts. What are you doing? You're a doctor. And by the way, doctors are the same people who looked the other way during COVID, who sit back and allow this gender reaffirming, whatever it is, this surgery, this mutilation to take place. I don't know where they've gone or what happened to them, but they've lost their minds. I have lost all respect for the medical community. I don't even know what they do. But anyway, you've got doctors who are told you must be talking at the doctor's lounge. Hey, listen, whatever you do, be careful. They're coming down on folks who are basically aligning themselves with the hospital, who are writing scurrilous and libelous and terrible things about Jews or Palestinians. So don't do it. What do? They do it. How many times are you reading about women who are constantly, women in particular, who are constantly having sex with students at parties, in parking lots? There was one at a Pizza Hut. Do they not read the newspapers? When they're caught, they are ruined. They are imprisoned. But yet, the more you report it, the more they do it. Even though what you're reporting is nothing but an example of their, I don't know. So you have doctors and Wall Streeters and public defenders standing there, ripping things off, flipping people off and saying the most hateful stuff on cameras, even though they know if you do this and you are caught, you are through. Why do they do this? I don't know. You can have you can be pro-Palestinian, pro-Jewish, pro-settlement, pro whatever it was. But to sit there and vile spittle coming out of your mouth as you grind your teeth with hatred. This is where we are. We've lost all connection. We're in this collective psychosis. Why does this bother you? You're here in Cincinnati, you've never been to Israel. You don't know anything about this. But it's like, doesn't matter. The same thing that got them to tattoo, the same reason that got them to do this. I'm not saying everybody's opinion is not worthy. I'm not saying that. But there are some people who have no idea why they feel this degree of hatred. I have had two people whose names you would know, basically call me out because I'm not reacting the right way. I said, have you heard me say anything? They're very, very pro. How do I say this? Not pro, but anti-Israeli government, not an anti-Semitic, but they are against the Israeli government. They're against settlements. They're against 1948. They're against, and they're pro-Palestinian. Okay, fine. I never thought to pick up the phone and say, you better change your tune. I said, I understand both sides. Well, you can't. You got to pick one or the other. What do you mean one or the other? I'm here in New York. What am I doing? Don't you see both sides have? You don't think Israel has a point? Israelis have a point at all? You mean to tell me if you were in Sderot, you can't imagine what they're going to think like? Consequently, if you were in Gaza, you can't imagine what a Gazan who was a constituent of I don't know what. What is the matter? During Vietnam, it was considered not only fashionable, but required for you to say, listen, I've got a number of positions here. These are American soldiers. I want them to come home safe. I want this war I want there to be a ceasefire in terms of the war. I don't want them to be hurt. I don't like what some of them are doing. Some of them are clearly war criminals. Some American soldiers, certainly. My Lai, come on, what are you talking about? But I'm not abnegating any connection with my country. I don't want them in prison necessarily. And I understand the viewpoint of the Vietnamese citizen who are wondering, what are you doing bombing my country? Now, if you have a hard time understanding that, I'm sorry. If you have a hard time understanding that, I don't know what to tell you. If you have a hard time understanding that, if that's something that causes you confusion or I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't understand why this is so difficult. But in the meantime, I mentioned Candace Owens and I mentioned Tucker Carlson. Let me tell you something. One day there's going to be a class taught on new, and I hope this doesn't need to be done, but there's going to be a new class that is taught for new bloggers, new streamers, new influencers, new whatever you want to call it. And just like all of a sudden young people are realizing, Bin Laden, who's Bin Laden? It's like, oh my God. Okay, go ahead and read it. I'll talk to you about 9/11. Would you like me to talk about that? No, I'll talk about 9/11. Don't talk about it. Okay. Don't you love we don't talk about anything. They don't want anybody to talk about anything. Again, I'm saying, read what he had to say. He's saying exactly what you're hearing right now. There's nothing novel to this. De-emphasize it. Why are you making it forbidden fruit? I've said enough about that. First of all, let me tell you a story about a guy named Jon Stewart. Kids, you don't know this, but let me tell you about that guy. There was a guy named Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, during his basically during his prime, basically created late night political talk. He was it. And we're not talking Johnny Carson or Joey Bishop or Jack Parr, any of that stuff. We're talking different. It was one of the best written shows. He spawned Samantha Bee, who's nowhere to be found. Rogel, whatever his name is, he's nowhere to be found. Steve Carell, actor now. Stephen Colbert, complete hack, waste of time. And others, and you've seen him down the list. And created that whole thing. Okay. Right before Trump came in, right before this genius says, I'm going to quit so I can have a petting zoo in New Jersey. I have no idea what the hell he did. I have no earthly idea what he did. Okay. And he left. The dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But he was so great and so big. He also wanted to be a producer. Remember, there was a movie, something in India, Iran, or I don't know what the hell he was. And this, by the way, kids, is called Losing Your Mind. It's called the Shelley Long. Remember that she was with Cheers. And she leaves. At the height of Cheers, not the height of Cheers, And she decides, I'm going to go and she's Joe in the Volcano or some movie that nobody's heard of. David Caruso, at the height of, NYPD, he leaves. These people who do this, McLean Stevenson, hello, Larry. I mean, just why do people do this? Okay. This is an example of something. This is the Earth. This is the moon. And when the moon gets too far up, it loses gravitational pull and it just floats off into La La Land. It just, it removes itself. This is going to be Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was Fox News. Tucker Carlson added some. Fox News was so exciting to many of you, but for the first time, it was so antithetical to that which was Fox News. His co-workers hated him, including Hannity, number one. You know it, and I know it. I've never talked to Hannity about this, but he couldn't stand this because this guy was king of the hill for the longest time. The luckiest man in the world, anybody who follows Bill O'Reilly and Rush Limbaugh you can put on the Missouri dial tone and you're going to be number one. Bless his heart. Anyway, Tucker starts thinking, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I'm Tucker Carlson. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. He really believed this. He believed this. I'm gonna interview Viktor Orban. Who? Hungarian. What? Why? I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna interview this guy Tate. Oh, that was stupid. Anyway, I'm gonna interview anybody I want. Anybody I want because I'm Tucker Carlson and you're not. I don't work there. I live in my Maine. I did this. I do what he went, screw you, and the horse you rode in on, and that's it. There was a case, there was a lawsuit. I think one of his ex-producers who claimed there's an anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish kind of atmosphere. I don't know anything about it firsthand, but there was this idea of this lawsuit that was being entertained in which this kind of a blue bloodish, yuppie-ish country club. What? Okay, fine. So you've got that floating around out there. And by the way, an attitude and something is so important. If I worked in a corporate environment, I would have somebody scour the place. Anybody who has any posters. There was a picture of Nancy Pelosi walking on the beach. It was unflattering. There was another one of. These are people who don't understand where they live. These are people, and I've seen this. You don't understand something, where I come from. When I first came into radio, this was WKRP. This was at the end of the jock. This is where radio stations went nuts. I worked at one station where when you signed a contract, it said, understand something. If you are sensitive, if you are somebody who was easily offended, you don't want to work here. And what makes this place so great is the fact that we enjoy a kind of a ribald type of atmosphere, and it's sexual in nature. And if this bothers you, get out of here. You're going to see things, hear things. This is the way it used to be. News organizations were great. I mean, men who worked in blood and guts and severed heads and bodies, they were tough and rough and they and it was sometimes and oftentimes not nice and maybe sexist or racist or whatever it was, but it was a different attitude. Now we're snowflake, powder puff, cotton candy world of, oh, don't hurt me. I've got my little dog here. I've got these stupid therapy dogs make me sick. What a racket that is on planes and restaurants. I got to put up with this damn dogs anyway. Because people are running, I need my gummy bears, I need my this, I'm so upset. Ooh. And then all of a sudden they go out screaming and yelling about Israel. They can't find Israel on the map. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Or Palestine for the matter. Make a long story short. That's Tucker. And Tucker's just one day is going to be like, Tucker's lost. He doesn't have his juice anymore. He just sits there and he says, oh, that's not it. You're not going to ever make anything by saying, oh, yeah, it's interesting. Wasn't that good? That's very good, yeah. Did you know that? I knew that, yeah. The guy who was the gold standard at a time that you probably will never see again is when Alex Jones was at his prime, around 2000, right before 9/11. It was the Wild West. It was fascinating. You could say any, and I think there was, believe it or not, less hate, because you didn't tell people. As soon as they told people you can't be hateful, that's when people were hateful. You never saw teachers having sex with kids until you told teachers they can't have sex with kids. It's the strangest thing you've ever seen. Okay, fine. So then you got Jon Stewart over here, and you got Tucker Carlson. Tucker's going to be bye-bye. And Tucker doesn't know how to thread the needle either. And then here comes Candace. Oh, Candace, the biggest dummy of them all. Let me tell you something, my friends. And you can, I'm not asking you whether you agree with this. I'm not asking you to understand it. I'm not asking any of this. I'm telling you the way it is. If you use words that have for the longest time have been associated with the worst, deepest, darkest, horrible parts of society, when you use words like apartheid, genocide, ethnic cleansing, Holocaust, you are asking for, you're asking for it. Remember this, my friends. Listen to what I'm saying. Tell your kids this. Bring them into the fold. Bring them in and say, remember this. Pick the hill you want to die on. You want to make a big stand? Go ahead. That'll be the end of you. See you. And once you are evaporated, once you are vaporized, once you're gone, you'll never be missed. Jon Stewart, nobody needs him. Cemeteries are filled with indispensable men. Nobody needs you. Nobody needs you. Play by these rules. Say what you want, but understand what happens. You are in a minefield. That's why I say this again. That's why you have. That's not it. I hit the wrong one. Not Lionel Nation. What am I talking about? I want to do this. It's the private channel. Excuse me. The Lionel Nation is good too. This is what I meant to say. Excuse me. Pardon me. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is my private channel. You can say whatever you want. Not here. And what happens is when you start to say, hey, the hell with you. Okay. Then somebody says, all right, we're going to show you a lesson. We're going to teach you a lesson. And a lot of folks have realized, and they say, Ben Shapiro, you're going to be our go-to person. We're going to do it. Who's giving you a hard time? Candace Owens. Consider it done. Because sometimes people have to do things to gain favor. They've gone too far. So they're going to say something. I have to do something to bring myself back. Because when it comes to advertising, nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to get involved in any of that nonsense. And Elon Musk thinks he's Elon Musk. Elon Musk, the smartest man, supposedly, and the richest man on the planet, does things sometimes where he just doesn't, he figures, I can say whatever I want because I'm Elon Musk. No, you can't. No, you can't. And by the way, you can't say either one. The moment you start calling people, Israelis or Palestinians, animals, bugs, insects, vermin, whatever, the moment you do, you've lost. You've lost it. Period. I promise you. You can, if you don't know how to distinguish Israel from Jews, Palestine from Muslims, easy. And we get some of the biggest jadruls, not here, but people who swear all of a sudden, oh, I know about, remember this? Remember after 9/11? Well, Islam is a religion of hate. And wait, I read the Quran. No, you didn't. Well, yes, I did. No, you didn't. You don't know anything about this. And all of a sudden they were experts. And then that murmuration came about. I've seen this my whole life. I know what I'm talking about. Be very, very careful. Repeat after me. Pick the hill you want to die on. You want to go the way of Jon Stewart? Go ahead. Candace Owens? See ya. Kanye West? Done. Finished. He's been done for a long time. Speaking of which, you don't care about this. Lizzo? See ya. There's a graveyard of people. They're out there. They're just gone. It's done. It's finished. Through. They love this stuff. They want your head on a wall. They want it mounted. Some people bounce back. Some people don't. Some keep going. Some whatever. That's not it. Now, let me tell you again. And here are the rules. Number one, you can have strong feelings about the Israeli government. Go ahead. There are people in Israel. Read Haaretz. For God, the love of God. You can have thoughts about Israel, about Israel, the state. You can have thoughts about Zionism. You can talk about the 242, whatever these UN. But go ahead. Go ahead. Separate and distinguish and understand and be very careful regarding Jews. This is a religion. This is a different. It's also a culture. It's also, but it's the people. Separate the two. It's simple. In similarity, you have the PLO, Fatah, in the old days. You had Arafat. Then you had Abu Mazen. You got the Palestinian Authority, and you've got various militias, and you've got Hamas. And okay, fine. Put that in one plate, and understand there are people who are citizens, who happen to be Muslim, who happen to be born in Gaza, who don't mean anybody. They don't know what the hell is going on here. The same reason as there are innocent Jews, and innocent civilians, and innocent Muslims, and innocent Palestinians who are caught in the crossfire. They have nothing to do. They have nothing. They're wondering, what did I do? I didn't do anything. Nobody's asked me anything. Don't lose sight of this. Don't get into these maelstroms of this wild, lunatic, fire-breathing hate and rage when you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Don't do this. And you can sit around all day and talk about history, and that's fine. Go ahead. It's relevant. And by all means, don't lose our freedom of speech. Don't lose the freedom of speech. Don't. I want to hear everybody say everything. Everything. Mike Johnson, whatever, they're talking about, they're praying, they're against gays. Is that hate speech? I don't care. I don't want you to say, well, I've decided this is hate speech, so we're not going to talk about Mike Johnson. And consequently, anybody who repeats what he says, we're going to ask that your platform be shut down because it's also hate speech. What? What are you talking about? What? Do you know what it means if all of a sudden you're going to shut down TikTok or Telegram or WhatsApp or Twitter or whatever the hell it is because somebody uses it to say something that you can hear on the street? Think about this. There's nothing that's being said that you can't hear on the street or that you're not aware of. And the fact that everybody's saying it, so what? We live in a world where you should be able to say what you want. And some of it's horrible, some of it's terrible, some of it's hateful, some of it, okay, yeah. By whose definition? The people who are saying it, they don't think it's hateful, they think it's true. Yeah, but you think it's hateful, but they don't. Well, I'm right. Well, they're not. They don't think so. The hell with them. Do you see where we're going with this? If you don't see this, we are, the tyrants of the world are laughing in delight as we're about to give away all of our freedoms in the hope of making the world a better place. And making it free from. Let me take a breath. You take a breath. Christmas is just around the corner. What better way to say I love you to a friend or family member than to have them ensconced in percales and pillows and slippers and bedwear from our good friends at MyPillow. Let me tell you about my great friends at MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets, MyPillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grab. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG, and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. That's right, dear friends. That is right. That is right. And I don't know what to tell you. I hope that we stop, recognize where we are going, and remember something right now. We must be allowed to discuss what is happening. This is critical to what's happening in the world. Critical, 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 critical. And again, please differentiate between a country and a government and the people. And understand that you are not to be caught up in these wild hate scrums, especially these immature people who just love to just bleat and bray and howl and scream about. This is nuts. This is nuts. And more importantly, do you want free speech or not? It's up to you. Or do you want free speech that somebody else determines, well, that's not okay. That's not okay. And I would love, here's the best part. Here's the best part. When it comes to 9/11, do you think the country wants any kind of a debate on 9/11? Hell no. You want to talk about it? You want to talk about bin Laden? Let's talk about bin Laden. You sure? Do you know who he is? You know who he was? You sure you want to talk about that? No. Let's talk about it. You obviously are upset because people are reading this screed. And by the way, there are a lot of folks, believe it or not, hard to believe, who doubt the authenticity of this, who believe that maybe what this is basically concocted and written by other groups of people. In fact, there were people within the particular group called Al-Qaeda, which basically we came up with that name, means the base of sorts. But this is 22 years ago. People don't even remember what happened. I was here. Mrs. L was here. We were here. Do you want to talk about it? I don't think so. Believe me when I tell you that. Believe me. And if you want to get kids to stop paying attention to the words of despotic killers, quit making what they're saying to be so dangerous and so not heraldic, but so dangerous in its thought that you basically are luring people to pay more and more attention to it. That's all. It's very, very simple. Barry Taylor, thank you, my dear friend. Extra Mile, thank you. And thank you for listening. That's all I'm going to tell you. Please, whatever you do not lose your mind, and do not lose yourself in the position where you, and I say this again, where you are in a position in which you are asking for, celebrating the shutdown of free speech. Free speech is a bitch. It's the worst, because not only do you get good stuff that's being said, you get bad stuff. And keep an eye on what happens to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, and watch Elon, and watch what happens. This is very, very interesting right now. Very, very interesting. Absolutely. And out of this cacophonous kerfuffle between Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, put your money on Shapiro. And it's great when you have the richest man in the world basically working in concert with you. I mean, this is, watch how fortunes change like that. That's what the world is. That's what war is. That's what history is. It's what politics is and are. All right, dear friends. Now, let me ask you a big favor. And I say this again. I want you to please, as we speak, make sure you sign on to Mrs. L right here on her YouTube channel. I ask you that. I ask you, it means the world to us. She is doing the greatest work ever. She is doing work that nobody can. It's indefatigable. You have no idea. And I also ask you, dear friends, please do me this favor. And without any questions whatsoever, I want you to go immediately and sign up for her Twitter, her X. I can't say X, it's Twitter. Follow her at Lynn's Warriors. And there is the link right there. There is the link. Lynn's, Lynns _ Warriors. All right, my friends, until tonight at 7 p.m., I thank you for your wisdom and for your courtesy. See you then at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dad, dad.